Now we move on to the next part. How does perceiving happen? This is the mind. So much so that you know now, when I place an object in front of the mind, you have the 5 senses. What's the 5th one? Touch. Where do I draw that? All of it. So wherever you can sense touch, that is that. Okay, so I'm just going to, just for simplicity, I'm going to put it here. Now the keen-eyed among you in the audience will have a question at this time, at this moment. But Swami Hansa, what about what happened yesterday? I can think about that as well. What happened yesterday, I think about now, and that's not coming through my eyes or ears or nose or tongue or my body. Where's that coming from? So we have the 6th sense organ. That is the mind itself. When the eyes, ears, nose, tongue and the body are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, the mind can go into self-sufficient mode. So the mind can think thoughts on its own. That is how you can plan for the future. What are you going to be doing this afternoon? Look and tell. Can you? Can you hear and tell me what you're going to be doing this afternoon? Can you? Can you touch and tell me? No. So how are you going to tell me what you're going to do this afternoon? You're going to think and tell. Where's that coming from? None of these sense organs are going to bring you that input. So it has to come from the mind itself. But for the mind to be able to do this, the mind has a trusted aid. It's called the memory. Now soon enough you'll have a question. Where is that memory bank, Swamina? Is it a chip somewhere? Is it in the brain? Which part of the brain is it? So if you have a bigger brain, do you have a bigger memory? Or smaller brain, smaller memory? That question I'm going to answer on another day. Because if we get into that right now, I'll have to remind you of the analogy of the poisoned arrow. Remember the poisoned arrow from last week? Yeah? Our first question is not, where is it made? How do we get the arrow out? Because the poison is seeping through your body. However, I'm going to represent the mind, just let's say somewhere around here. Okay? So this is the mind box. And inside here you have those sine waves going up and down. Okay? The only reason I draw it here, well, there are 2 reasons. One, many scriptures talk about it in that way. But 2, when you feel hurt, you feel like it's there, don't you? He hurt my heart. She hurt my feelings. You say, she hurt my feelings, and you go like this, my feelings. So all your feelings are in here then. What about this? Is that not a feeling? All my feelings are here. So when I put it up here, you don't challenge that. Right? So to make my job easier, partly, I just put it here for the time being. All right? So the mind arises and passes away. We have the 5 organs, the sense organs, and you have a 6th one. It dips into memory. So I'm going to draw a memory like this, a speech bubble or something. These are all the things that you have seen earlier, you've heard earlier, you've tasted earlier, you've smelled earlier, and you've touched earlier, and you thought earlier. That's what goes into memory. You can't bring from memory something that you've never thought, or you've never seen, you've never heard. You can't bring from memory something you've never experienced. You have to have experienced it previously. Then you ask me, but then Swaminatha, how come you can imagine something you've never seen before? See how good I am? I ask the questions before you ask them, and I try and answer them myself. I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm digging my own grave here. Sometimes you may not even have those questions, and I still ask it nevertheless. So how come we can imagine things that we've never seen before? Well, the answer to that is here. You might imagine things that you think you're imagining things you've never seen before because you're imagining the whole picture. But if you broke it down into its elements, it's all made of stuff that you've seen before. The basic elements that make the bigger thing are things you've seen before. The colors, the shapes, the structures. Right? So if I ask you to go and imagine a building, they say, when they built the Burj Khalifa, it says, imagine the Burj Khalifa before you built it. You imagine before you build it. Yes, it was never built before it was built, but the structures that went into it, the shapes, the colors, the sizes, the raw materials, right? All of that was all preconceived. So really, we never reinvent the wheel. We make use of things we already know, and then we imagine the new. That's what we do. So whenever we go into memory, we bring in things that have already been dropped in there, but having taken that, we construct it and we rearrange it and bring up something brand new. That's how it works. It's like, when you have children. You have DNA, the other party has DNA, and the two DNA, when come together, creates a new combination of DNA. That probably has never arisen before, but it's a new combination of stuff that is preconceived. It was there earlier. That's the way it works. So there's that. Now we have all of these sense organs. Their purpose, ladies and gentlemen, is to feed the mind. In fact, if I ask the question, why do you have eyes? Why do you have eyes? You say what? To see. Who wants to see? Do you think your eyes want to see? Which part of you wishes to see? Go on. Your mind. It is the mind that wishes to see. Which part of you wishes to hear? The mind again, right? In fact, just to prove the point to you again, if it was the eyes that wanted to see, the eyes would never see. And here's why. Because the more you use it, the more it wears out. Yeah? The more you use something, the more it wears out. Like a light bulb. Right? If the light bulb was only switched on when the light bulb wanted to be on, it would never be on. Because the more times you switch it on, the fewer times it can be switched on. Therefore, it erodes its lifetime. So, if your eyes only saw what the eyes wanted to see, chances are it'll probably most of the time just be shut, because eyes don't want to see anything. It would be in its benefit to not see anything at all, because it will hardly get used then. Good. But the mind is not so. The mind always wishes to see, to hear, to smell, to taste, to touch, and to think. But it can't think out of thin air. It needs stimuli to think. These stimuli are what your sense organs bring it. Does that make sense?